Well, it's nice that we stand around here and nobody knows. Oh, what's going on, everybody? How you all doing today? All right, guys, put away everything that we were not doing. Yeah, there was nothing we were doing. No? Oh, okay.
Creepy, man. Creepy.
Anyway, guys, thank you to another FuzeDrive TV episode that we have going on here, guys. So today, let's just first start this whole thing out with the pink elephant in the room, or shall I say red?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, what prompted you to go red?
It's Thanksgiving colors.
That's like an orange.
Yeah.
You know that falls.
You're stealing your daughter's answer.
Well, yeah. That was my daughter's answer because she ended up with a similar color, although just a streak. My wife's a hairstylist, so that's.
Oh, okay.
I'm a guinea pig. That this happens all the time. So, like in a couple weeks, I'll be something else entirely. Anyway.
Well, I mean,
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, but I think more or less it's one of those things where I just say like, it's just Thanksgiving. That's orange. It
is orange. No?
Santa Claus is red, and you're like,
with our color correction, it looks almost orange.
I'm just the fact that we talk about red and how that leads into everything.
Speaking of red, let's talk about the AMD thing.
Team
Man,
Red.
you totally stole
Talking about Team Red. That was a good segue.
That was a good segue. I was sitting there like, how dare you, Zach? So yeah, let's talk about red since you wanted to take the lead. No, so we're talking about like AMD and the new processor that they had coming out. I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, like they have the boldest claim so far, I have to say. The most powerful 16 core. Like, how do they? I know how they determine it with benchmarks, but how do you get that? Because when you have Intel in the field, like I don't think that's like easy to say. Like we are the best 16 core out of all of them.
They're definitely the newest 16 core. That sure helps at being the best.
That's true. That is a good way to look at it. It's like we are the best, newest for right now processor.
Well, it's always the leapfrog game. That's how it'll always be. Hopefully.
Well, I mean, you never ultimately know with that kind of stuff, like because like everything has a way of saying something with the short time span that it has, and you can get away with a quote, and then after that, like that quote could never stay. Like the quote goes away automatically. You're just like we're the fastest 16 quick. We got to sell it before Black Friday because then the next one comes out. Yeah. I mean, what do you think Intel? Like, how do you think Intel will respond to this? Do you think they're just like, we don't care, we're just gonna?
I think it'll be a while.
Yeah, I mean they're working on their process and they're having so many issues. So
yeah, one of them has a fab, the other doesn't. So. If anything, AMD will suffer from shortages, but
now if you guys don't know, I'll tell you right now. This man is a pure Intel lover. I'm a huge AMD lover. Sometimes behind the scenes, we like to get wet fish and slap each other because we just don't agree. But when we're on here, his face is like, no, we don't.
It's not my idea of fun. But
well, that wasn't supposed to be fun. Did you think getting each other with fishes was fun?
No.
I'm like sitting there like, but no, I mean like, but even you were saying like you're like no, I really appreciate it, and you think that you that this is actually pretty good for what it is for right now.
Yeah, it did half the prices of all the high-end desktop Intel chips because they need. I think like the highest-end desktop Intel chip for previous generation, because there's nothing to compete with it, was around $2,000, but now they dropped that to about $1,000. So
that's true.
It did drive a price change, but even the highest-end Intel chips can't compete at the moment.
They really can't. Like that's the thing that I think I've always found the appeal about AMD was that like as a kid growing up, like my parents didn't have a lot of money. So like when I'd always buy computer parts, like I always kept wanting the Intel like everyone else. I'm like, oh, Intel, I love it. And AMD is always what I got. So I was always like, this is not that great.
I don't know, when the first Athlon came out, they were really great at that point, and I grabbed one of those.
I think I'm a little too young for that.
Yeah, it was a long effing time ago. I'm not.
Sit back. This is mine and Eric's here.
Yeah.
I think that's like when Diablo was coming out, Diablo 2 or it was Diablo 1, and I think I
never got into Diablo. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
What with all the red?
It's just click.
It was so fun. Diablo was a great game.
Sorry.
How could you?
Sorry.
See, I've always enjoyed Diablo as a top-down game. I'm like, I think everyone like lost it when they announced it this year with BlizzCon. Like there was 4. They're like, we're going back to basics. I'm like, God, thank you. None of this auto spam. Like I think that was one of the reasons why 3 never really caught me. Like it felt like you were just auto spamming, and could program everything, and so you just watch people run through dungeons and automatically do everything. So, but ultimately AMD, when I was growing up, that was it. In Athlon, I did own one. I was really excited for it, and that's what was really powered my computer. The funniest part was, though, I did win an Intel chip from Blizzard for the I want to say the Heart of the Swarm. And like Intel was like doing that whole thing over at the Irvine Spectrum, and I went over there and I was all excited, and it was packed. Like everybody was there. They were like, "Oh yeah, like StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm." And as I went up there, like it was massive, like literally massive. And they were like, "Okay, we're gonna call out raffle tickets." And I'm thinking, amongst 1,000 people, I'm not gonna win anything. And I'm sitting there, and like this ticket, like I'm just going like, "Oh, it doesn't matter." It's like what 669? Oh, that's weird. Like. And it just seemed so long. As I'm just sitting there in the crowd, just looking around, like watching the festivities. And I was like, all right, so the next ticket is 669. And I'm going like, sounds oddly. Oh my God, I won! So I started going in the head. And so they give, the first thing I see is them giving something to somebody in the crowd. I'm like, hey, wait! Trying to see people, that's mine! Running up. And I told him, hey, you gave that guy my stuff. He's like, oh, no, you won the bigger prize. I'm like, what? And so it was like a new case. I think they gave me the chip, a new chip and everything. And I was like, all right, sweet. I'll finally get an Intel build. I think about 8 years passed, and I just sold it off because I wasn't going to use it. It just sat there, and I was going like...
Really?
Yeah,
oh, man.
Because I had a strong AMD at the time, and so I was just going like... Well, I could build the next Intel, but it was so much in the pricing. The pricing is what deterred me, literally from Intel. It's not that it's a bad thing. Intel has a lot of great, infrastructure of how they've set up their processors and how the architect has now evolved itself. Before they were pretty much a leading archetype tech, wasn't it? They were using Macs and stuff.
Yeah, they for a long time AMD fell behind, but obviously their bang for their buck was their whole selling point.
Well, now they're just the creme de la creme.
Sure.
It's if you want the Gucci knockoff. See, and that's where you get Dolce & Gabbana as AMD. Right. He's like, I don't like these references. I think that's going to be my new thing, is to find ways to make references so you go don't like that. Just to get that cringe face out of you. So ultimately, with these newer launches, is there anything you guys have seen out of the AMD chips that you really think are oh, this is really cool, and I really like it, or is it just that's cool, I'll check it out?
We haven't had much of a chance to play with them, but from the reviews, it looks like they'll be great for both gaming and workstation use. The content creation with all the extra cores they currently have now should really help with that. So
yeah, if you're streaming, for instance.
Yeah. No, they do well. I do use it in my stream. I do remain to this day an AMD boy, just because I love AMD and stuff. So nothing against Intel. I just do think they have their side of things. I do like the fact that with their processors, they allow you to actually have single core control instead of with AMD where it's all switches on as they work through them. And I find that...
I think they've changed that.
Yep.
Have they changed that?
Yeah, Ryzen Master lets you mess with all of that.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a new program separate from it? Because when they launched the first Ryzen set, they didn't have that. It was just all multi-core switched down.
Well, they had Ryzen Master. It was really buggy, but they had it.
Right, but especially for Threadripper, it was something that you really needed to go in and switch that on.
With
the game mode.
The first gen Threadripper, if you didn't turn half the cores off, you couldn't really play games all that well.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Windows scheduling issues mainly.
Yeah, it was about Windows, but
Windows in this last year has really messed with a lot of us, because even for me in streaming, when it updates automatically, it's like, here, let me update you. I'm like, I'm in the middle, oh, come on, man.
This bit FuzeDrive a number of times, and and Stormite just now got their 1.53 release out.
Oh, did we release that?
Yeah, that was Monday. Yeah. You weren't paying attention.
I wasn't here.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that finally fixed that Microsoft Game Pass for PC issue.
Oh, okay. That's why I got charged $49.99 yesterday.
Oh, did they up the price finally?
It's I think it's $199 to start. For,
right.
And then now
it was 99 cents or something during E3. And
yeah.
They were just hoping that all of us, including me, just forgot that we bought it. So.
Right.
And so after that point too, it's I got it because when I didn't touch it until Outer Worlds came out.
Oh, okay.
And I was I don't want to pay the full, because I feel like it's gonna be a Fallout where if I pay $60, there's not enough end game content for me to keep playing through it. But I do give them a lot of credit, because Obsidian themselves were the people that made Fallout New Vegas.
Right. Yeah.
So they already so it was kind of all right, we're gonna take advantage of this Bethesda. That's why I said Watch out, Bethesda. You got a new Fallout on your hands. Like,
Right, but they're not going for the huge open world thing that Bethesda does.
I think what they did was a good.
Do it beautifully.
Seems a lot like
That's a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to not have these giant open world.
Feels a lot like New Vegas.
Yeah. But it's not this thing where like you don't even touch the main quest because you're working on side quests for years.
So and that's the thing though. But like Obsidian has always been good storytellers. We looked at Oblivion. We've looked at a lot of stuff, and it's actually funny because I just last week for my game design class I got to meet Jeff Kaplan over at Blizzard and stuff. Also, I want to put it out there: Jetpack Cat needs to exist. All right, you put a gorilla and a hamster, and you all drew the concept for Jetpack Cat, but you didn't put it out there. Go to Reddit, and I want you guys to start that forum. Jetpack Cat must exist.
Okay.
Yeah,
it does sound good.
He showed us.
I play it.
Well, that's what he think. He showed us this thing, and he said like he was going like, oh yeah, so he's like, let me just show you some of the prefabs of characters, and then this cat with the jetpack was in it. He's like, let me just first say, hand off, there will never be a jetpack cat. I was like, you put a hamster, but then he goes on to explain, he's like, but the hamster made sense to us, like he was in a ball, it was cool, and he could wreck. It was a robot. I was like.
Remember that old game, the hamster ball? It was kind of like Marble Madness.
Oh yeah,
Atari one,
yeah, and you controlled it.
That was so great.
Yeah, it's so.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, we're reminiscing the old days. But like the thing is like I thought it was interesting because like if you look at it, like I was like, wait, so you made sense of a hamster in a ball that could kill things, but not the jetpack cat? Like, come on, man.
I'm with you.
I feel like that would have been a great initiative. So let's make that happen. Reddit, let's put that on there. And so as that goes, it's kind of interesting though with like the new stuff that we see coming out with the new processor. There's a lot. They offered a lot in this. Like this is a big full-on launch, even as before like CES coming out next month. I think. Well, no, not December yet. So
right.
The month after. Right. So like there's a lot to be seen. So like CES should be kind of interesting. I mean, you guys are going, right?
Oh yeah, and we got something to talk about.
See, and that's why my segues are great. So as far as everything goes, talking about AMD and the new processor, and you guys have stuff you need to talk about too, right?
We do. The thing I'm talking about CES, that's going to be something else entirely. We got a few things in the pipeline. But finally, after the last couple Twitch streams where I said coming soon, so it's coming really soon. But to the point but we can announce it today. And
he sat there the whole time. I'm like, we're going to talk about new products. All right, coming even sooner. That's not a new product here.
No. FuzeDrive Premium is coming super soon. So it's bigger, better, faster. So you get 2 tiers instead of 1. You can have multiple disks inside the tier.
Yeah.
4 terabytes of fast.
4 terabytes of fast. I don't know how you're going to make that happen. You can buy some of those giant 2 terabytes, and if you're one of those data hoarders that we've talked about, then
I'm kind of
more power to. Oh, me too.
I need to actually right now. I need to go back and clean the C drive because I've let it dope.
No, you don't. You need FuzeDrive.
This is true. You're right. What an easy solution.
Yeah. What do you know?
And it's true though, because I mean, like FuzeDrive does offer that opportunity. Because like, as much as I want to go back and like erase, because like that was the old thing. Like you used to like you get too filled, you're like, I don't really need everything. I can re-download or install it. I'll just erase it, start over, and like formatting became a trend for a short bit. Like just format the drive, restart over, and like with it, it's like it was like nice and clean because there's so much data going into your computer the whole time. You don't really get the opportunity to know what is being saved. And like what's going on there all the time. Like it says like installing file, but to an average user, they don't know what's going in. Like, and they don't know that there's like, the data apps that hides itself within your documents. Like there's a lot to it. So that's when people are like, why are my documents so large? Like probably something you should know, But and that's the part where I think it's interesting. So like with Premium, what are we seeing here?
Yeah, so besides the things that I talked about, there's also a few extra bells and whistles packaged with it, including some performance monitoring tools specific to watching promotes. I think we actually have a clip of that. We can
show. Let's check that out.
Also some file pinning. You can right click on a file and say, I want that to always be on the fast or always be on the slow or be on the fast for X amount of time.
So on your screen right now, you'll see a video of one of our monitoring tools. This is one we call eLive Monitor. And you can see where the drive is being accessed at the moment. And so the blue is the slow speed stuff, whereas the red is the fast speed. In the
HDD versus SSD.
Yeah, HDD versus SSD. And I don't think it's playing.
It may take a second there.
Well, anyway, this is a young tier, and it's going to be a time lapse, so it's going to be pretty quickly. You'll see at some point.
If you hit the eye on the left of the lock,
I
it
love
should restart
live
it for you.
streaming, isn't it great?
We should not see that issue. That's interesting.
All right. Well, we should have tested this more, I think.
We're having technical
I think
difficulties.
your other method would still work if we can manage to make that happen, right?
It should still work, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, no, I think the issue here.
All right. Well.
It's not going to play like that.
Okay. So
Well,
are we gonna edit this later? I hope so.
Oh no, we can re-edit that later. Sorry about that,
Fix
guys.
it in post.
Fix it in post. Well, what you can do is though, like for when you go back to the other scene, you can do a display capture, and but then it's going to show what's on your desktop. So he's like, no, don't do that. But you can also do a game capture. I think it was that you were to do.
Yeah, you might want to undo the turning the volume off. Maybe that affected it for the video.
Yeah, when you turn the video off, sometimes it can do that. The little where it shows the X, yeah, like that.
Yeah, is that the video? Try again.
Yeah, you gotta go to the main scene for that one, and then it will show you.
How would that affect the playing back?
Because if it doesn't have a sound to play with it, it doesn't roll with it. It's a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go to the video.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we're skipping it. We're skipping it.
As you can see in the chart. So what was the chart supposed to show us? And we can just try to imagine. I'll just take my hands and look like the bars.
On the chart, you'll be able to see real time where the data is accessing on the drive. And you can also see it moving, like where the red stuff is. So you can see like, oh, it's accessing data over here, and then all of a sudden that will start growing red as more of that becomes fast. So it allows you to see stuff like that. There's also other tools that are included, like one called ePerform, which allows you to test the performance across the entire drive. Yeah. And see like which parts of the drive are being fast and which parts are being slow at the moment.
And you can test other drives in the system,
yeah,
just the raw drives, and see what those look like as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's great because I mean, like at least and that's where the graph would have helped us a little bit more to understand it. But if you saw like we saw it like over, it's distributing everything with the sectors that you're actually checking out and like using, right?
Right.
You see, and that's so when we are using this, sorry, and I kind of got a little part of that, and I was going like and that. So when we see this kind of stuff happening, what does it usually look like if you're not using FuzeDrive? Is it just going to stick to one sector and just use that sector constantly, or is it going to?
Well, without FuzeDrive, the whole thing would be either red or blue, depending on if it's
just one side or the other.
Depending on if it's SSD or hard drive that you're looking at.
Yeah.
So
it's never going to change.
Yeah, it's never going to change.
It's not a virtualized tier.
The data is going to stay in the same place the whole time. Like if you load your game and your game happens to be on this like section of the hard drive over here, that's where it's always going to be read from. But with FuzeDrive, so that game that you're playing with will, like the parts you're accessing most will be moved to the red fast stuff to allow you to have the higher performance on the stuff you actually need the higher performance on.
Oh, okay. So it's just prioritizing, making sure that like what you're using more often. And
there's also other things like there's a graphical feature that if you are in File Explorer and right click, you can choose files to like say I want this to always be fast, or you can even say like for the next 7 days I want this file to be fast, and you right click, say like promote this one forever. And
well, wait, did you just say like I can prioritize like for the next 7 days? Like
you can determine like for only 5 days for some reason I want this file to be fast, or you can determine like I don't think I can ever use this again, and say just permanently make this one slow. And you can like customize what's fast and what's slow. If you have something that like you want this always to be fast, even if you don't access it that often, you can set things up like that.
Yeah. And it's nice also if you actually look at the right click menu, you can see currently how much of that file is promoted to the fast. So it'll say
like
20%,
80%,
and whatever it is.
So you can even delegate how much power it's getting too for like each one.
Power? Well,
I mean like speed, like because you were saying like because that's what I was saying. I was like, so wait, so I can also.
Well, I meant as an informational thing. You see, what is the current state of this file? This file is 100% accelerated. This file is whatever.
Oh,
whatever that is.
Yeah.
I thought you could control the speed. I'm like, okay, now that's really impressive. It's like this one goes about 70, this one will go 60. I'm like, damn son.
No, that's the whole thing. Is if it's on the SSD, it's staying on the SSD for now, and you're gonna get SSD speeds. There's not any magic other than that.
Okay. And so, like, I mean, that's actually awesome because that helps me because, like, in my sense, like, we're now hitting finals, and I know that you're starting to hit some of your finals and stuff like that too. But I've been doing a lot of heavy graphic stuff, and like one of the big things is motion. And the thing is, motion is like independent because it's not like wireframe meshed everything. So like everything gets well, some of it's wire mesh if you're using the pin. So you guys know that part. But what happens is just the layerings themselves act independently, so it tends to take up a lot more than it really should instead of following suit to like the compression of what you use in like a sculptor program. Okay. So it's like it's really difficult. So over time, it starts bogging it down, and I'm wondering where the other extra like performance starts going. Like I think I have 5 separate compositions that have like 32 layers.
It's likely you're having other issues.
Yeah, there's so many possible bottlenecks.
Yeah,
besides storage.
Because I'm running 16 gigs on my RAM and everything like that. And like,
well, but there's
that's not a lot for content creation. If you depending on the size of your scene,
you don't have to make it seem so small.
But there's RAM, there's CPU, yeah. There's there's all of the possible bottlenecks.
But if the hard drive is your bottleneck and you want to make sure that those files in particular are always fast, you can choose to right-click those files and say, I want these to be fast.
Well, I mean, I know it's not the rendering out because that is the RAM and like the video card itself. What I'm saying more like the hard drive as recalling things and certain items when I have to import and bring them in, sometimes they bog down or take longer than it has to on reading. So that's what I meant, man. Come on.
But if you open the thing, it's gonna accelerate it anyway. There's not This is more like I want it to be sticky.
Yeah,
is the more important thing.
Well, that's really good actually, and I mean, I don't even know why I say that because I mean like we all know that's pretty good. I mean it's like it's really good. I'm like yes, we're all aware that it's good, but it's like why do I need to state it twice? But so with that, I mean like what else do you see like besides this? Is there anything else you can actually talk to us more about, or is that as far as we can go with it? Because like. With your guys' two, like so, because you guys are working with AMD now, like as we speak about Red and everything like that, right?
Well, that's the store of my products, so yeah.
This is on top of the store of my products. Right. This is an additional thing.
There's not going to be a store of my premium.
Oh, okay.
This is only FuzeDrive.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to make sure because I mean, like you never know what people will ask, and later down the line you could have a problem, like, hey, they never asked that question.
Yeah, like if you like your Store My, but you want more features and better support, then the FuzeDrive Premium or the regular FuzeDrive are both a good place to look.
This is true. It's true. So like with the 2 tiers that you guys are talking about and the support that you guys have for it?
Yeah, like so you can do many combinations. Like you can have like 2 data tiers. You can have one of your tiers be a boot tier, the other be a data tier. Or you can continue doing your just 1 tier situation, but with much more fast storage available because we offer up to the 4 terabytes on the premium product.
So when you talk about tiers, this is for me asking as if I was a consumer who doesn't know, what is the difference in these tiers and why is that more important to me? If you want to still have like a separate like this is my boot and this is everything else for like more of your own sanity of managing things. Like say you want to be able to reinstall your Windows OS but don't want to have to reinstall all your games, you can still keep those separate on a separate like D drive, but that D drive could also be a FuzeDrive to allow you to store more at better performance on there. The other things that the premium features allow are things like hardware RAID, so you can have your hard drives all striped or mirrored, and you're in a RAID solution.
Yeah, and this just operates on the top of that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and that to me that's awesome, like because now I don't have to worry about reinstalling stuff because like that has always been a hassle to me, and that's one of the things I've always hated is just like dealing with like trying to sort out that stuff.
Well, it's still Windows. It's gonna get bogged down. You're gonna have to reinstall at some point in your life, but
I see it. That's the thing I hate is because like over time you get a bunch of programs. Like even now, like everyone advertises like about, and this is me personally. This is not reflected in the future, but like I don't ever use any antivirus programs, and like
Nice. Well, it depends on what you're doing.
Because I'm not the person who's going on and seeing certain sites and doing certain things I shouldn't be. Like, if it asks for cookie acknowledgement, I don't deal with that. But at the same time, too, I have never really gotten any problems with it.
Windows Defender is good enough.
Well, you are running an antivirus in that case.
Okay.
Unless you're killing Windows Defender also, which I doubt you're doing.
I killed the firewall, but not the Defender, no.
Okay.
Yeah. It's because it's just like, a lot of times third parties seem to have more of an issue. Like when you look at it, more than just,
when you're doing like an update, like Avast and AVG, you can't get these updates now. Yeah.
Well, because I used to use Avast. I thought Avast was like the best thing, and then like after a while, it's just like it kept having more issues. Everything was a virus.
But is that Microsoft's fault? And then.
Well, no, I'm not blaming Microsoft.
No. I'm saying you should be blaming Microsoft.
That's Microsoft's fault for everything. Oh, because it bases off its own index reference. Am I correct? Like,
no. What I'm talking about is it getting in the way of doing Windows updates, things like that.
Okay, yes.
And Microsoft's doing its updates, even if it does succeed, and there being some incompatibility, something like that.
Okay, so I thought you were talking about like updates in general with anything, where it's like it's always asking, do you want to verify?
Well, you want those. I mean, that's the whole point. Is you got to catch up.
Yeah,
you're always catching up with the latest malware. So
that's very true, and that's the funny thing. I mean, like we went from having a prince that asked us to send him money through an email to, hey, Google's trying to get your account. Please sign in now. Like I remember hearing about that stuff way back in the day with MySpace. I had a friend who worked over there. Yeah, MySpace.
No, I used Friendster, man. That was
Friendster.
That was it.
I had a Friendster for a short. I think I was more of like during my college years. It was like Dead Journal because they had Live Journal.
I know. I had never heard of that one.
Yeah, there was one thing called Dead Journal because it was supposed to. It was like the emo version during the time.
I think we're excluding our younger hosts and
viewers. This is true. Sorry, we're reminiscing of an era that just done. But anyway, I had a friend that worked there, and he got and brought me to the aware of like people using like the fishhook. Google's doing this, and since nobody had any official way of like knowing it was Google, a lot of people filled it out. Or same thing goes for MySpace. Like it had like the second reload, where like you'd sign in, but it reloaded the other one, so you always had those issues with that. So
yeah,
safety is needed. But moving back on the track and talking about safety, man, have you guys seen that Tesla? Sorry, it had to get worked in there at one point. Like the new Tesla, that's like a.
It looks like it'll make my drive to school considerably safer. Driving through LA and making sure it's able to stop a 9mm, that might be important.
I don't know where you're driving through in LA that you get a 9mm constantly. Like, oh, honey, it's raining bullets. Like,
never know with the. Yeah. I tried to go to the gas station the other night. It was like 11 at night, and looking around, like, okay, that gas station, it's well lit. Looks like it might be safe enough to stop.
I don't know.
These are all things I have to think about.
Yeah, but you don't really want to go down the LA streets unless you can stop a 50 cal, right? I've seen those movies, those documentaries.
Which ones?
The documentaries about 50 cals being shot at people in LA?
Yeah.
When does this happen? My Cali story.
Those are illegal in California.
Yeah. Going like, who's got a 50 cal walking around California? Like, I mean, there is one. Okay, so like back in my days when I used to work in movie production, we went to a set location, and in Sunny Valley, there's a dude who literally owns. It's one giant-sized building where they shoot all the movie stuff because he made it for that. Like, so he gutted a house and he took the lower servant's house as his house.
Okay.
But if you go to the right of his plot, he has a bunker.
Nice.
And I'm just sitting there going like, "What's in there?" My friend was like, "Oh, dude, that's loaded." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Supplies, AKs." I'm like, "He's got AKs?" He's like, "Oh yeah, a couple ends," but he's like, he can't like have the triggers and stuff because it's like California regulation. I'm like, so basically, if the apocalypse happens, I'm pretty sure he has those parts laying around to just make it a full automatic. So it's just kind of interesting what you find in California. You're like, what? Why is there a bunker located in Sunny Valley?
It's all for movies.
It's just all for movies.
Okay.
It really is true. I mean, like they shot a whole movie with I want to say Cloverfield in a bunker. You know, John Goodman. That like pretty low bound. Like I'm pretty sure they could use the same bunker. So, but like, see, I don't think I'm going to trust that on the Tesla because I mean, after that first example of the window shattering, like,
you saw Elon Musk.
He claimed that hitting the door with a sledgehammer over and over again caused the window to be a little less stable for the throwing the ball through the window.
Well, and also they threw previous balls at the window
and the kitchen sink. He saw the kitchen sink. So
like nobody.
I didn't see that one. They were
in the background, he was like when he was talking about like, oh, I'm not sure why like this happened, but like for some reason he had prepared like a video with like throwing other things like the wrench, the kitchen sink.
Sure. Well, you got that's everything but the kitchen sink. I thought
he said everything including and showed a video of a kitchen sink hitting the window.
Well, I mean, I think that's the interesting part is like when you watch it, like I just can only like you can see his face immediately when it's like boom, like dang it, Dave.
I'm happy he was brave enough to hit the back window too.
See,
even it out.
But like I don't know. Like I think that's the part about it is like we see new technology always emerging. And like for Tesla, like that, everyone makes the joke, and yeah, sure, it looks like a Death Stranding car, but I mean, look at it, like Death Stranding cars almost look exactly the same. Like you were saying earlier, like it's almost as somebody took the whole render, was like Elon Musk turned over, was like, that's done. He's like, I just started working on it. Like,
I haven't even started bending it.
Yeah, I didn't like it that night, but the next morning I woke up and I was like, actually, that is a really cool car. So,
well, I mean,
that front end though, that's with the light. I mean, the thing that he's been teasing this whole time.
So you're agreeing with me that it is really cool.
That just that front end, the way, I like that. But yeah, the boxy thing in the wheel well, I don't know.
I think maybe it's me being biased. It's like my Fit. Like I don't mind that it has like the smooth like curvatures of everything. My biggest concern though ultimately comes like those really sharp edges because they're very hard edged. And
because they can't bend the thing because it's too thick.
Yeah,
it's made of the same stuff as the Starship he's building.
Do you ever think he's got like a secret list and that's why he's like hitting up celebrities like, if the end of the world comes, we're going on my spaceship to Mars. I have a secret base.
Following his Twitter, it seems like people just tweet him and say like, I think this will be cool, and then he turns around and makes it. So
really? Well, okay. So what does he
not
make?
A flamethrower, for instance? Yeah.
That was okay. That was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm like, that is pretty dope. Like you could make that. I think they used that in music videos at one point too. So, but like as we look at like new emerging technologies, like we have stuff, FuzeDrive, and we have other stuff that's coming out of the field. But like, let's kind of more or less see if like, why do you think people always have that hesitation, that doubt, like something may not work? Because like ultimately, like that's what we look at too, is what you guys deal with daily with FuzeDrive. Like, how do you convince people to ultimately go like, I shouldn't be scared of this and start using it?
Nobody likes change, so like I think letting them know that it's not as scary, the change, is probably the thing to do.
Well, I think it's like do you ever watch I probably watch it. I was gonna say Netflix. Did you watch Netflix and like Rocko's Modern Life, the new movie? Like
No.
they had a whole. You didn't watch Rocco?
Can you explain what Netflix is to me?
Mikey's 5.
All right, so this is the thing.
Yeah.
It was like an internet meme.
And they sold these things called DVDs.
Yeah, and
Rented.
oh god, and they used to have these arcade buildings called Blockbusters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and VHS existed at one point. They are now called the Sacred Text.
I'm still on Betamax. I'm Team Betamax.
You're
all
still
the way.
Team Betamax?
Yeah.
Is it just because the name sounds cool? Better than a VHS?
My dad went all in on Laserdiscs. He had just a massive collection of those things.
I've never understood those. Actually, the last remaining Star Wars is on Laserdisc, the original cut.
I think we were talking about new technology.
I know, but can't you let a Star Wars person have a moment? But as the person rushes us on, like, yes, with new emerging technology, we see a lot of different things, and it's one of those things where you say, like, reassuring them, but then again, how do you know? Like, you work for them. How do you let other people know outside of it? Like, through, like, the test that you were going to show, like, about how your, drive works, what other things, like, have you guys yourselves, like, thought of and said, like, hey, they might think about this or they might worry about this. Like, how can we show them the way of how FuzeDrive works better?
I mean, how I make sure it's working is by running it on my own system, and I trust it enough to do that. But
we eat our own dog food at Emotus.
So you guys are all running off everything that you use.
Of course.
Yeah, most of the systems are running it. So
okay, most of the systems. Which systems not?
We
Like,
got a few holdouts. The driver guys. So.
But ultimately, you guys use it in the day-to-day of everything that you're doing.
Yeah, and we're constantly running like long-term tests to make sure that things are continuing to be stable more than just like the first week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the good part of it. I mean,
we're hoping it's not like a washing machine or a dryer where like after the warranty or after the refund period goes away, that all of a sudden it breaks. We don't really want that to happen.
I always want that to happen because
so,
I want to call that person back and I want to yell at them and then afterwards I get something. I'm just kidding.
Well, you should have got that Maytag.
Yeah. Oh well, Maytag's always trustworthy.
Yeah, because if your washing machine or dryer breaks, you're going to go and buy a new one. But if your FuzeDrive breaks, I don't think you're going to come back to us and be like, you know what, I want another one. so it's our priority to make sure that it continues to be stable, continues to work well.
Storage is storage, and we can only be as good as what's underneath.
Which luckily with the premium product, you can have your RAID 1 underneath.
Sure, exactly.
That will help things because then if your hard drive breaks, then you have the RAID 1 to solve that problem.
Right.
Well, I mean, like, so you have all these solutions, everything, and that's the good part about it. I mean, like, I guess more or less you never see that very much with like certain programs and people and the products they produce is they never give a lot of guarantee and like safety or like at least take the time to hear the concerns of their consumers and stuff like that. You know, and it seems like you guys are very proactive about that. Like, you know,
Sure.
we're here every other week. Yeah, every other week doing this right now, and like I think that's the great part is like because eventually we're gonna start getting more questions from people asking more about the drive and seeing what it could possibly do.
Yeah, that's the future we're hoping for, is having viewers to ask questions about the product, and that way we can answer those questions rather than trying to think of what you guys are going to ask.
This is true. This is true. You can become the future preventers. It'd be more like, you know, future. I don't want to say like future crime kind of thing, but like a more of a future customer service thing.
Sure. But these are pre-sale questions more. I mean, if you're having a genuine problem, you just come to our support, and we're very happy to help you out.
And Eric will stay up all through the night to work on it with you.
I've been known to stay up
Even
late
with the
and
QLC?
work on support.
I've come into the office before
We
at
can't.
10
Okay,
a.m.
hold on.
like,
We can't promise night and weekend support. I still got to get my sleep sometimes.
I mean, I've come in the office before at 10 a.m. and I'm like, wait, Eric's never in this early. It turned out he never left. So
That wasn't a support issue. That was something else.
So do you get a lot of questions about QLC itself, or like do you get it about anything else?
Yeah, a lot of the drives out there now are quite sneaky with what they're actually using. Like it takes some work to find. Okay, so there's this new SSD came out.
Right.
What is it using? TLC,
it's,
QLC,
and it's so much cheaper.
And it's like, there's this 1 terabyte SSD. It's right in my price range, and for some reason it costs the same as the 256 from this other company.
Right.
And you have to dig a little deeper, and you realize it's QLC. And QLC is great for some things. But
No, hold on. Before we dive any deeper into this, let me ask you this part because I want to make sure that like everybody else there understands. Because if we say QLC, like that's us talking it.
Right.
But what does that ultimately mean?
Yeah, it means there's 4 bits per cell on the SSD. So like on the original SSDs, it was either each cell was either on or off, and then came the next one where there's 2 bits per cell, where
MLC.
Yeah, where you could have like up to 4 combinations on a cell, and then TLC. It grew
Not
bigger.
the channel or the group.
and then finally QLC we're at where you have the 4 bits per cell, which is how many combinations? 32 or something?
16, and then PLC is that'll be 32.
So yeah, with each one of these, like each cell can only handle so many changes. So when you have a cell being able to do so many different things, they wear out quicker.
Yeah,
so like you can read off them all day.
And the voltages actually decrease as
Yeah.
time goes on, and so there has to be all this error correction, and it moves things around to make sure that this worn out cell gets
Now, when you guys are talking about cells again, because like we're talking now, it's getting really technical off the point.
Yeah.
What do cells necessarily do for the user or work in the hard drive itself? Or
They hold data.
Right.
okay,
These are the ones
they
ones
hold
and zeros of
yeah.
your data.
Yeah.
well, no, I don't want to say cells. And I was like, what are they talking about? Because like everyone, when they think of everything of like holding your data or information, it's like they just know it as like hard drive and RAM. There's no like in depth into like your list.
Yeah. Hard drives use magnets, and SSDs use electricity. I think is the yeah.
Electricity. What is this you speak of? Is there a guy named Edison who's told you? No, I was kidding.
So yeah, pretty much the thing is they're much cheaper. You can get much bigger ones, but they tend to be a little on the slower end, and you can't write to them as much as you can with the
write and
options.
delete.
Yeah.
So those are the things that will wear out SSDs. And when you're talking about QLC, they're great. Their price is coming down, and that's wonderful. And they're still pretty darn fast. They're
Faster than a hard drive.
faster than but faster than SATA SSDs. But it does come at a bit of a cost. If you're someone who's doing lots of writes and deletes, then maybe you want to look at something more
Yeah,
expensive.
like QLC might not be a good scratch disk for your
Right.
for your content creation. But
No,
like,
it is not.
but if you have like long-term storage that you still want to be pretty quick, QLC is a good option for that, because if you're going to write to it once and read from it a lot, that's something it can do.
And we've discussed in the previous ones about how you can use FuzeDrive as an endurance tier rather than a performance tier. There is a performance improvement between the higher class NVMEs and the QLC NVMEs, but beyond that, getting that endurance to be the part that's hit hard, where the other stuff is more like long-term storage. That's also available as a use case for FuzeDrive.
Yeah, so if you want to run like your QLC as your slow tier.
It's what slow?
Yeah,
but
it's not particularly slow, but
right.
you can.
Yeah.
But it's slower than the fast stuff.
Sure, but
So
less resilient though.
Yeah.
Is the more
So you
important issue.
How do you know
like-
it's less resilient? How do you know it's just not trying as hard as the rest? It's just not getting there. I like to be that Thomas the Engine enthusiast.
Yeah.
Poor little QLC. It's not living up to its full potential.
So like Optane prides itself on being able to be written to over and over again,
Right.
and have its like
Right.
almost infinite endurance. But
Right. But
so
you're
that would-
paying a huge premium for that.
So it's much more expensive. It's smaller and faster. So that would work great as your fast tier, like your tier that's having the most stuff happen on it. Whereas you can have your QLC as like a slower section,
Right.
where something gets put there and it stays there.
Right.
And so that's like a future we're looking at, is having QLC handle the more archival stuff.
Sure. And we're working on making FuzeDrive more adapted to that particular use case. We also have some future announcements, but we can't yet talk about. And that'll be during CES. We'll really be starting to push that, and maybe we'll see around that time frame some announcements about a new product from Inmodus.
Some new product announcements from Modus. All right, guys. So my Christmas is going to be spent trying to crack their hard drives. I need to figure out what this is because they haven't told me yet either. So, I mean, I just have inklings of what you guys do, but
Sure.
I'll figure it out. I'll get out of that red beard of yours. That's where they're hiding it. That's why you've turned it red. It was like, make sure nobody knows it. Just let it blend in.
Right.
And so I see how it is.
No, that's where I have some birds hiding.
That's it's like
I need to work. Yeah, that Cameron who used to work here. Yeah, he had this beautiful beard with his curled mustache. I'm trying.
Sounds like you have more of a man crush on him.
Big time.
Okay.
Cameron, we miss you so much. Please come back.
Yeah, it's wait. Did Cameron also used to work over at EVGA?
No.
No. Okay. Because there was a guy at EVGA. What?
I'm sure there's multiple cameras out there.
You think so?
Yeah.
There could be, but with the beard and mustache, there was a guy over at EVGA
Okay,
that I
alright.
met, and he was doing the hosting for him, and that's why I was going like, wait, is
Did
this?
did he wear bow ties and suspenders? And,
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I mean, but even I do
it
when I
goes with the whole.
It does. It makes
hipster. You know.
hipster. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Is that how we're getting described now as hipsters because we have beards and mustaches?
What, curled up at the end?
That could be just old
It's
timey.
a good. That's what I'm saying. It's a good look. You know,
I think
if you
hipster
can
would-
pull it off.
I think a hipster.
But it's a
would be-
lifestyle. You know, you gotta commit.
You have to wake up earlier for that.
Yeah.
Oh no!
You got to oil the sucker and wax it and.
Well, it's kind of funny because like even when you bring that up, I was actually looking at beard trimming and like techniques
Sure.
for my
Oh, yeah.
for whatever this is going on here. Yes.
Someday you'll be able to grow a real beard.
It really that's what I told people is like with beards, like it's like either one way or another. Is that like if you try to grow it, it's like some people get it like full in and you're just like awesome, like I don't have to worry about it because it feels right. Yeah, look at these two bearded guys. They're just smiling over like screw you guys. But more or less it was.
Come on, when I was 21, I couldn't grow sideburns, so
This is an achievement for you. It's like I got sideburns finally.
Yeah.
Well, see, like for me, it's always it's more of a patch thing. So you know, like that's why I'm like I don't grow it out because like then it looks like I like look very disheveled with little patches.
A
on
little
my
bit
face.
when it's white, then it'll blend in more. You'll not see the patches as often.
Well, like some of us here, we're trying desperately to cover it up. We're getting the wrap it up signal, I think.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That's right. Sorry about that, guys. We wandered off into the field of beard grooming, but yeah. So we're looking at all those different products that you guys have coming. So there's a lot to process here and like look through. Little joke there, process. No, okay, it didn't work out on that end. But I mean, so there's a lot more coming on. Like after like this month, I mean, like we go on hiatus for like another 2-3 weeks and then come back.
So with Black Friday coming up really soon, right before we leave, we're looking to discount some of our products
That's true.
online. And
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about that, or it's just like you have to go to the website and be ready for it?
Just watch that space for
Yeah,
the Cyber Monday deals.
Watch our site and things will be ready for Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday.
Yeah, Cyber Monday.
I like that. The funny thing is Cyber Monday is finally taking over more of the Black Friday kind of scenario.
Well, now it's just become this big thing where you
I
get
think
the whole week before and the week after, and it's this giant.
I think it's nice because then you
wonderful thing.
No one wants to be working on the Friday after Thanksgiving, but the Monday after Thanksgiving you can work then. So
I don't know. I think from the Friday, I still have to recoup like 3 days, so I need like till Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
It's our old man bodies. You young vibrant people.
Turkey,
like,
coma.
oh, I'm still eating turkey for the rest of the week. Making the turkey sandwich.
At least.
All right. And then you make the turkey cranberry sandwiches. Like you try to work turkey into every part of your meals until it's gone. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another day for us in doing FuzeDrive. I think we're gonna go carve up some turkey, have some good times with our family. You guys have anything else more to say?
Nope.
All right. Bye. You not wait here.